Hey everyone, this is Adam Perry with TrueDFS, and a little unorthodox. I am going to go over tonight's one game NHL DFS slate. The NHL schedule has blessed us with a giant 14-game slate tomorrow and one game today. So I am not going to be playing my typical single entry. I will probably MME. I'm not going to play a ton of lineups, but I'm going to do something. So I don't know if anyone does or has done NHL Showdown content, but there's a first time for everything. So I'm going to use SaberSim to do that. Now, ironically, we don't tend to get too much news in the NHL, but we do have a little bit to look out for in this one game. Grieg on Ottawa did not take morning skate. He is currently being projected by SaberSim, I believe. Ridley Grieg. Oh, maybe not. Am I spelling that wrong? I'm spelling that wrong. He is currently being projected, so watch out for that. The lines, it looks like Sexton, I guess, is assuming he'll be called up. Norris is out. Jensen's out. I don't think either of them are being projected at the moment. Josh Norris, no. And Nick Jensen, no. So we will go through the process, but do know things will change as we approach lock and we get firm confirmation of what the Ottawa lines are like. So let's just see what happens using SaberSim to build showdown lineups. And maybe we'll learn something. I'd love to see how it factors in correlation in a single game. And this may say something a little bit about correlation on larger slates or, 2-game slates, 3-game slates, 4-game slates. How much do we want to stack? Well, how much are we stacking in a game like this? I've only played Showdown a couple times in NHL, but I've noticed SaberSim will give you those onslaughts. So what does that say? We will find out. So I am going to just make 2 changes to projections per DraftKings rules, and then go ahead and build 5,000 lineups. I certainly don't care about the minimum salary on a one-game slate. The correlation and diversity sliders seem to be the same for Showdown, no matter how you build. Makes sense to me. I don't want to put in any rules. I just want the play-by-play sims to build me the lineups it thinks are best. See how fast this goes. I imagine without any constraints like we do in our typical NHL process that it'll go pretty quickly, but we will see. I'd love to get 5,000. I don't know if it can muster that. We'll find out. In the meantime, we're going to run a contest sim against the ownership that SaberSim thinks will be in here. It's a pretty good variety of contests on DraftKings for this. I mean, you've got 5K up top is better than I expected. And you still get the $5 in the poke check. So pretty decent for a one-game slate. Be interesting to see. Let's see if DraftKings put anything up for tomorrow yet. No. Be interesting to see. We had that 100K up top last Tuesday. I don't think we're getting anything like that. They were running a lot of satellites to it, and it filled like the night before. But without the satellites, I doubt we're going to get anything huge, but we'll see. And we'll see what the high dollar stuff is like. If we get 20K up top or more, we can consider ourselves happy. I think they think that there will be increased interest on Tuesdays because of the size of the slate. They often do that on Tuesdays. And boy, I don't know. 14-game slate I have less interest in than a typical 8, 9, 10 gamer. So, okay, we got 5,000 lineups. Exposures are pretty flat across the 5,000. If we use their single game metric, stays pretty flat too. Brady Tkachuk is the highest. That makes sense. He's probably going to be lower owned at captain. Yeah. They have him projected for under 10% ownership. He's probably the best scorer on the underdog. But expectations, given price on the favorite Nashville, probably lowers Tkachuk's ownership a bit. He's higher than the goalies. He's higher than some of the forwards and even D-men like Yoshi. A little bit less than Forsberg. And he's on the underdog. So that makes sense using the single game metric. Let's see stack exposure. A lot of 4-2s and 3-3s. I have 50 lineups. I'm not going to play 50 lineups into this thing. I think that the entry size here, does it say here? No. Let's see how many entries have been registered yet. Let's see how it's filling. All right, it's about half full. It is 47. Okay. Let's just see the top 50, and let's run a sim against the ownerships and see what kind of lineups we get. So if we're running using the single game metric, we're going to get about a quarter of the onslaughts. Of those, it's a little more Ottawa than Nashville. If you go to 4 stacks, more the underdog. Let's see in our contest sim. We got, there's only 2 4 stacks in the whole thing. They're both Ottawa. And a metric ton of onslaughts. So, we could take, here's what I think we could take out of it. The lineups that SaberSim thinks the field are going to play do not have in them enough onslaughts. In our pool of 5,000 lineups, we got almost as many 5-man winning lineups as we did 4-2 lineups. And, SaberSim does not expect the field to play that way. People don't like onslaughts. And so it's pretty much telling you to jam them, especially for the underdog. And remember, we're trying to get the winning lineup. We're not trying to hit the optimal. So you get a lot of correlation in here. What does that say, though? Well, what does that say about a 3-game slate, a 2-game slate, a 4-game slate? Because we have this question all the time, to 4-man stack or 3-man stack, or to do onslaughts like the 5-man or the 6-man. I mean, to me, that says you really don't need the nuts to win, especially in smaller field. When we're playing single entry with 150 men or 200 other entries in the contest, to me that says the onslaughts are good then too. I think with the onslaughts, you get some outlier upside as well when teams just do go off, as opposed to trying to capture all the points scored in when they score 4 goals, 3 goals. So I'd be inclined to go with it. Let's see how the captains look. Still get to a lot of Tkachuk. Let's see. Get even more Tkachuk. You get some Ottawa goalie. So the underdog goalie. Some Forsberg. I imagine, you get Forsberg with the Nashville onslaughts. Got him with Shen on EV1 and Sissons. Roman Josi, all the kind of top EV guys for Nashville. I mean, even strength, not expected value, although this lineup has a pretty good ROI, really good ROI. Assuming SaberSim can accurately predict a field, I don't know if they can, but we will find out. So, let's say I'm going to play probably about 8 lineups. I'm not going big on this single game slate. I don't know much about Showdown. I'm pretty well spread out, except for the captain. So I'd be inclined to get some uniques in here. If I get 2 uniques, do I get any other captains? Yeah. Now I start getting a little bit of variation. It's hard to get too much diversity in 8 lineups, but we'll take a little more. And by going just 2 min uniques, not even going that far. I mean, if we really want to play safe, we want to spread out our risk. We go to 3 uniques, we get down to 26. I do think you have to be careful here. I do think you want to make some changes to think about projection, or to think about how many lineups in these top 50 you want because of duplication. I mean, there are going to be a lot of SaberSim users in this contest. They're going to be getting the similar stuff. So it's something to think about, not just duplication, but clumping in ownership. The min uniques should take care of that somewhat. We won't have projections because it's a single game slate, but I'd be inclined to maybe just say, hey, this top 1, 5, 13, top 20 lineups, I'd be a little worried about duplicates, especially when we're getting close to the salary. So it's something to think about. I don't know how that's going to play out on tonight's slate, but judging by the ROIs, I think you could go down. I mean, you could go down pretty far anyway, as long as you're diverse. There's not a huge difference between my 26th ranked lineup and my 5th. It's like a 20% ROI out of, a huge number anyway. And we won't expect that with our post-lock sims, depending on how things play out in ownership. We won't have it nearly as perfect as SaberSim thinks these are going to be using their field lineups. So you get some diversity. I'd avoid duplication. Maybe just cut out some of these top 15 or 20s. So I'm playing. See, it keeps the ranking. So that's a little confusing. Got up 4. Let's do this. Let's take uniques off and just say, out of these top 10, using SaberSim's projections, SaberSim's field, and SaberSim simulations, that the duplication risk is high and the ROI trade-off is low. So maybe just take them out of our pool and then do our process. So we took 14 lineups out of our pool that were in the top 20. 3. Let's see what our ROIs look like. 284. If we go down to our 8th lineup, 254. I'm good with it. I'm going to put these in. And that's how I am building for tonight's NHL DFS Showdown slate. Please like and subscribe if you want more content like this. You will get it. And remember, you could get access to the SaberSim product and TrueDFS through our packages on TrueDFS.com. And it's a pretty good deal because you're not paying much more to get Sheets' projections and Goldie's projections on top of everything that you get with SaberSim, and on top of the premium Discord and the premium videos and content that guys like Sheets and Bobby are doing all the time. So if you are a member and you have any questions, please feel free to post them in Discord. I'm going to be in there all day answering them. And if not, think about coming in to join us. And for more content like this, like and subscribe. And good luck to you, and wish me good luck too on this single game NHL DFS slate. I do not have a ton of experience with it, but hopefully this process leads to some good results. So thanks a lot and happy playing.